Everybody, welcome to the show. You know where you are, the 9 at 9 with me, Tigo. And today is that special real estate day because our buddy, our resident expert on real estate is here, Jennifer Hammond. And we're going to talk about the mistakes people could be making as a realtor in this economy. So sit right there. We'll be right back. Everybody, welcome back. Yeah, if you guys have watched the show, you know I'm a big real estate show fan. I'll watch it on TV and watch them do these major houses and major remodels and all of that. And you think, oh man, in a half an hour, they can get anything done and they're making crazy money. But in reality, real estate agents, brokers, they're working on commissions. And if the economy is weird and things shift and it becomes a buyer's market, now what do? Well, for us, we call Jennifer Hammond. Hey, Jennifer, what's happening?
Hey, yay! Thank you for calling me. Yay!
All right. So what are the 3 mistakes that real estate brokers or real estate agents could be making right now when they're trying to shift from the seller's market to what's looking like a buyer's market now?
It's amazing. These 3 mistakes are so basic, and yet they are overlooked all the time. And I tell you that if you ask any real estate agent, they're probably going to have to, it's going to be like they went to Catholic confession. They're going to have to confess that they did not do these. Okay, so number 1, not following up. Oh my gosh, this happens both for buyers and for sellers. So you might be talking to somebody and they showed a little bit of interest. Well, you need to follow up with them and find out, because guess what? From week to week, even day to day, and again, don't harass people, but you need to realize that, again, you need to follow up with them and find out. Like, for instance, somebody might not want to sell their house this week, but guess what? Next week, they got a job offer. So they didn't announce it to everybody that they got a job offer. But if you weren't keeping in touch and following up with them on a regular basis, you're going to miss that opportunity. And that's a huge amount of money. Again, as you just said, most real estate agents work 100% on commission. And so not following up, that's like a deadly sin.
You know, it's a deadly sin in business, period. You know, we're all guilty of it, no matter what the business is. You know, you don't follow up. I learned the hard way when I had a painting business in Virginia in the 80s, a company said, oh, no, we don't need you right now. And then 2 weeks later, I see another painting company. They're painting that building. And it's like, wait a minute. Well, it was my fault. They told me to follow up in a few days and I didn't. And I lost that lead. That happens all the time. And people assume that everybody sees your social media posts. Yeah, everybody doesn't see your social media posts. You got to follow through. So how do they follow up? Do they call them? Do they text them? Do they email them? Do they go knocking on the door? So what do they do?
And this is a great one too, because we can go and we could have a whole show on this just in general, because the follow-up, it depends. Like some people, you're going to need to call them and leave them a voicemail. But other people, if you've probably, and I know you've experienced this, Tigo, there's some people you call where their voice message just says, don't leave a message here. I never check it. Or it's always full. If it's always full, how are you going to actually leave them a message or, be able to communicate with them? So again, and then also we've talked about this in previous episodes as well. Some people prefer for you to text message them. Some people prefer for you to email them. So one easy way for real estate agents, as just a regular thing to do, is to follow up once a week with everybody in your database, and you're just saying hi. You give them information. Like in Florida recently, we had a big hurricane come through.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
you
it
did.
was pretty scary. And I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many of my neighbors were clueless as far as their hurricane checklist. And, that's something that as a real estate
Hmm.
agent, we can easily, give out, is make sure that you're being of service in your community. And that's one of the ways that you can be following up with people, is if you're top of mind, when they think of a real estate agent, they think of you. So you want to make sure you're top of mind. So as you follow up,
Right.
and you make sure that you are being helpful and not a nag, or not one of those pieces of email that end up in junk mail, or you end up blocking them because you're like, that person just is annoying me. Make sure that you're actually being of service as you're following up with them.
And make sure that, any business, I'm going to tell y'all, you know me, I'm going to say it straight out there. Be of service. Don't use it as a slogan. How may I serve you? And then you don't really mean it. You have to be of service, or people, they can tell when you're faking. They're just going to skip right over you. Okay. What's number 3?
Number 3 is not enough action. Not enough action. So often people think, and I think this is, I love using the gym excuse, or the gym thing of, you think that if you went to the gym once a week, you're going to have the perfect body. It's the same thing with, with real estate. Is a lot of times people don't estimate the correct amount of effort it's going to take to get a new client, or to get a client past the finish line, or to, make sure that you're getting new deals coming in your pipeline. Not enough effort. And that action, that effort, is something that, again, you can't just sit there on a mountaintop and go, oh, I hope someone calls me today. It can't be like that. And part of that action, there's all sorts of aspects of this action. So number one of the most important things you do in action is you need to be going out and looking at houses and the inventory. If you haven't seen the houses, how are you
Right.
sell them? How are you going to talk about them if you don't know what you're selling? Like if you're selling cars, you better have taken that car for a test drive. If you're selling a bicycle, or if you're selling, you need to be looking at houses every single week. And so underestimating the amount of effort that you need. If you want to all of a sudden be selling $2 million houses, have you seen every $2 million house that's on the market right now in your area? Have you done that?
Yeah, and the other side of it is, like you said, you had a hurricane down where you are. There's all kinds of crazy weather things going on. Have you even checked to see if the house isn't damaged or if it's still there?
Right.
Because people are, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but people are running cons and stuff right now. So it's like you might want to get out there so you don't wear the egg on your face when they go, hey man, that house is half gone. There's a tree through the roof. And you go, oh,
Ooh,
I didn't know.
right.
I didn't get a chance to go out there and look. That's a good thing for anybody. You want to check what products and services you're offering before you offer them and make all these promises.
And
So before
that's what
we
was
get out of here, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, because winter comes around the corner, it's the same thing with snow and snowstorms. You might
Yep.
just have a snowstorm that comes through, or an ice storm. So it doesn't have to
Yep.
be something major like, oh, it's a hurricane. It can be all sorts. It could just be a really bad storm last night. So again, that's a huge, what you just said is very, very critical to making sure you know your inventory, and not only the ones that you represent, but also the ones that you might bring a buyer to. Make sure you know your
Right.
inventory. So number one, the mistake, not following up. Number two, make sure you're daily prospecting. Make sure you're actually calling
Yep.
people and following up and getting new leads all the time. And number three, not enough action. Those are the 3 mistakes.
Woo. Now, and even, I have friends in Kentucky and other places. There was lots of flooding and stuff going on this last year. So you want to check for that too. But let me ask you about fears,
Ah,
because I know a lot of people have been in this game and they came in at the high of it.
yeah.
And they were like, oh, it's just like making a money machine. I just sit here and reel it
Yep.
in. And now they have to work for it. And they're now suffering from, depression, doubt,
Yeah.
fear, going through all that. What's a couple of really quick tips before Alan cuts us off on how to get past that?
So number one, it's a mindset thing, because you need to, and I always do the yay. And part of that is, let's find the silver lining. Let's find the rainbow. Even when the hurricane came through, first thing I did was go look for rainbows. Always look for the silver lining. So if you find yourself thinking the negative thoughts and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Think about, how could it be the opposite? How could it be a rainbow? How could it be the most beautiful thing? And the same thing with the housing market. I can give you so many examples, but if the housing market is down, who does that benefit? Well, think about it. There's always somebody who's benefiting from this. And you can always, all of us learn from the down markets. There are more millionaires made in a down real estate market,
yes, there is,
than an up market. There's so much beauty and so much success for you to have. All you got to do is just go out there and get it. And I do say it does start with that mindset. And every one of us gets sad, and every one of us gets in a challenging thing where we think negative thoughts and invalidate ourselves. And you just have to be like, stop. I am not whatever negative thing. And then you go on to, your yay moment of, yes, it's going to be a great day. This is going to be the best day ever. Today, I'm going to have more clients than I've ever had before. And you're going to see the best houses. And you have to be your own cheerleader. And think about that. Don't look for somebody else to be your cheerleader. You can do that for yourself.
And all right, tell people real quick, because he's going to cut you off. Tell people real quick how they find you.
So go to JenniferJHammond.com. JenniferJHammond.com. I've got some amazing classes up there. I'm interested in helping you find your yay in every day. And it's such a privilege. Oh my gosh, Tigo, I love you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. You are my sister, and I'm so grateful to know you and to just be inspired by you all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, sis. Thanks for hanging out. I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about next time. But as always, you are the best.
Yay!
Hey, everybody. Now, if you can't remember JenniferJHammond.com, you know what to do. Go to TigoDirect.com, type in Jennifer, type in real estate, and she will come up and you can connect directly with her. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want you to come back next time. And as always, I'm Tigo. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.
I spelled your name wrong. I'm sorry.
Yay! Yay!